In today's FX markets, let's take a look at the Euro futures today as they're realizing some further selling pressure today. We're seeing them down now for the third session of the last four trading sessions. And really 3 days ago, we did see the Euro futures basically unchanged, maybe up just so slightly on the day. But overall, when you look at the last four trading sessions, we're continuing to see this downside momentum being realized. Currently, when you look at the futures market, one spot 1795. And that's coming off the intraday low, which was actually in the 1.78 handle. So even though we are seeing the futures market coming off of the lows of the session, they are still down for the third day out of the last four. And I think if you look at some of the factors why we're seeing this continue, it really has to do with the perceived trajectory or economic trajectory. I think when you look at from a global perspective, the U.S. continuing to maintain a stronger trajectory. We're seeing, again, some concerns in the Eurozone based on the COVID-19 variant, the potential for some reining in of activity there, and just the overall interest rate environment, I think, is also having an impact on the perceived value here, whereas we see the U.S. dollar holding just off the recent highs, right around 93, and we're seeing most of the major currency futures markets under pressure today. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is there was one that's bucking the trend today, and I think it has to do with the fact that we're seeing crude oil bouncing back quite significantly today, and that's the Canadian dollar. So we're seeing the Canadian dollar bouncing back today, up on the session relative to the other major currency futures markets, where we're seeing the euro pushing down to 3.5-month lows. We're seeing the British pound even breaking lower than that. We're taking out the March lows in the British pound, and also the Japanese yen under pressure, Swiss franc, and so on and so forth. So really the only futures market that I could pick out today of the top 10 when you look at the G10 futures markets is the Canadian dollar bucking the trend, where all the other futures markets are trading lower on the session.